Welcome to Solo-Ensemble.com, a web-based system for managing judged fine arts events. In this video, we will highlight 10 changes and updates to Solo-Ensemble.com. Most of these are feature requests from our current client base. Number 10, Web Host Upgrades. We have migrated Solo-Ensemble.com to a more robust web server, hosted by DigitalOcean. As we grow, and when we have multiple contests occurring on the same days, we can increase our server capacity to ensure smooth operations. The database that stores your data is now managed, with frequent backups to protect against downtime and data loss. It can also be scaled as Solo-Ensemble.com grows. The images and files that contest staff upload are now stored in a dedicated system called Object Storage, using the same protocols as Amazon Web Services. Number 9, General Menu Cleanup. Beginning with the user dashboard, we added contest start dates. For users with several contests, this feature can be very helpful. We renamed several items on the contest staff pre-contest menu and moved some things around for more logical layout and to make room for some of our new features. Other video tutorials will delve into these improvements and new features in greater detail. Today we will briefly show some highlights of these changes. The invoice settings page now includes price entries for the new solo panel and group panel judging. These two sets of checkboxes, judge comment rubrics and solo ensemble scoring and awards, have now been combined onto the same page since they logically belong together. We'll discuss panel judging later in this video, but this pre-contest page has been completely dedicated to entering and viewing the rubrics and scoring values that support it. The existing capability to generate blank comment forms has been expanded to include the new solo panel and group panel entry types, including a listing of the individual rubrics. The final topic in number 9 is that all reported timestamps in lists and on comment sheets now reflect the user's local time zone. Number 8, disabling contest access using the website active dates. The dates screen has not changed, but the website active dates were never really enforced. Now they affect the user's dashboard by disabling the icons to access an event when the dates are outside of this range. Contest staff at all levels are unaffected by these date settings. Number 7, setting allowed performance types in a contest. It would be unusual to have a contest event with all 4 of the Solo-Ensemble.com types. Therefore, we now allow contest staff to limit the types of entries. This screen shows how the contest staff sets the available types. Here is a school main menu showing that some of the entry types are unavailable. Number 6, contest directors can adjust their contest staff levels. There are a few distinctions between contest staff levels, namely between regular staff and contest directors. Contest directors can promote staff members up or down on this hierarchy, including themselves. Here is the screen where such an action is implemented. Note that the status of contest staff or director is specific to each contest event. It is not a global setting across all contests. Number 5, uploading and sharing files with schools in your contest. On the contest staff main menu, in the schools and personnel panel, you can see 2 new menu items. One is for adding resource files to be accessed by the schools in the contest. The other is for posting short text messages to the schools, which we will discuss next. This table displays a list of files already uploaded and the schools to which they have been associated. Over on the school main menu, the school staff can see that they have 4 files available to them. Clicking on that menu item brings up this table. The file names in the first column are download links, from which they can open the files in their browser or save them to their devices. Number 4. Posting and sharing text messages with schools in a contest. As we mentioned earlier, the other new menu item under Schools and Personnel allows contest staff to write brief messages and post them to any or all of the schools in their event. Clicking on that menu item brings up this table, showing any current messages. You can reassign existing messages to a different set of schools. You can also create a new message as shown in this dialog box. On the school main menu, the school staff can see how many messages are posted for them, and can even see which ones have not been seen, as indicated by the red number 2 icon. Clicking on the View Messages link opens this screen. The icons in the left column can be clicked to mark each message as read. Number 3. Invoice enhancements. In addition to adding price information for the new entry types, the invoicing system has seen several other improvements. The invoice itself now has a unique invoice number generated for each school and each contest that also changes with the dates. This way, the same school in the same contest, but in a subsequent year, will still have a unique invoice number for billing. 2 new screens are available from the contest staff list of schools page. This invoice payment summary page lists the financial payment status of all schools in your contest event. Costs are shown for each category of entry, including a cost for the school as a whole, if applicable. Payments that have been made and recorded by the contest staff are summarized here. The All Invoice Payments page shows each individual payment by every school, along with a brief text description of the payment reason, such as making a deposit or paying the final balance. Number 2. Bulk deletion of contest data. This long-awaited capability has been kept in the Advanced Functions area, only accessible by contest directors. It is primarily intended to clear out a contest for the next year, but can serve other purposes. There are 3 sub-panels in this function. We will describe each of them in turn. The Schools panel contains one checkbox, which if selected will delete all schools in the contest. Because all entries and results belong uniquely to these schools, deleting the schools will automatically delete all performance entries and their results. This is not a common action you will ever need to take, because normally you would keep the schools from year to year. In the second sub-panel, Performance Entries and Results, there is one set of checkboxes for the entries and another set for the results. Checking any of the entries boxes will automatically check the corresponding results below it, because the results depend on the entries. This is the most common action you will take on this page, because when clearing out the contest data for the following year, you need to clear out both entries and results. On the other hand, deleting the results will not delete the corresponding entries. This could be useful, for example, if you were training judges for your event by having them practice on actual student data. By clearing out the results prior to the contest start, the entries remain intact to be judged for real. As with all of the items on this page, please be careful not to perform this action by accident. The final panel in this function allows you to bulk delete your judges, accompanists, and/or your contest staff members. This is kind of a nuclear option, and should really only be used when you are resetting a contest website for an entirely different type of event. Importantly, anyone in these roles who also happens to be a contest director for this contest will not be affected by this action. This includes yourself, so if you were a judge, even for practice, you will see that your judge role was not removed. We've made it to the number 1 new or improved feature in Solo-Ensemble.com for 2026, Solo and Group Panel Judging. On the basic contest info page from the contest staff pre-contest panel, there is a small information icon next to the words, Allowed Performance Types. We saw how this menu item was used to limit which types of performances are in a contest. Clicking on this information icon brings up this information dialog box that explains the contest types in detail. This pop-up dialog provides an overview of our 2 distinct systems used to evaluate performance contests: the solo or ensemble format and the panel judging format. In the solo or ensemble process, a single judge assigns a customized final rating chosen from a fixed list and utilizes configurable comment rubrics for feedback. Conversely, the panel judging system employs one or more judges who use various numeric judging rubrics to accumulate a total score, from which the final rating is computed rather than selected. When multiple judges evaluate a panel performance, the contest staff must select a specific policy to average the scores and determine the final award level. For both contest types, results are recorded on PDF formatted comment sheets, which are then made available to school staff for their students and accessible universally by contest staff. A different tutorial video will cover panel judging in greater detail. A key distinction between panel judging and other performance types is the creation of rubric sets. A rubric set is a collection of number-valued rubrics and a collection of scores and ratings based upon the sum of those rubrics. Here is an example of the panel rubrics and scores page, accessed from the pre-contest panel on the Contest Staff main menu. This is the page from which contest staff will create and edit rubric sets, rubrics, and ratings. The left panel lists all Solo panel rubrics and scores. Different rubric sets, when they exist, can be chosen from the blue drop-down list at the top. The right panel lists the group panel rubrics and scores in your contest. The two panels function identically, but we have logically separated Solo panel and group panel rubrics. This allows contests greater flexibility in assigning rubrics, scoring, and rating to each type of performance. Two important pages are accessible from this one, using special icons on the toolbar. In Solo-Ensemble.com, we like to group icons to access similar pages. When you see icons that are a different color than their neighbors, it implies that they are unique to this page. Clicking on the left icon opens up an informational dialog about panel policies. Let's do that now. Here is the Panel Policies pop-up dialog. It has a text area across the top and 3 panels below. The panels stacked on the left contain inputs where contest staff determine which policy to implement for Solo panel events, and which to implement for group panel events throughout the contest. We will zoom into these now. The top half describes the need for policies, basically making the case that there must be rules that decide how to combine the scores from multiple judges to determine a final overall score, rating, and awards. The panels on the bottom half of this page contain the input areas for Solo panel and group panel policies, and a panel that describes these policies in detail. Returning to our zoomed-in view of the panel rubrics and scores page, we will now click on the second of these special icons to access the page listing all rubric sets in this contest. This page allows you to view all of the rubric sets in the contest. Clicking on the green icon at the end of a table row expands the table to list each of the rubrics in that set. Note that all rubric sets have both a type and a subtype. We concatenate them together on almost all of our pages. For example, theater, costume design, is one rubric set. For contests that may have more than one rubric type, for example, dance or cheer, this provides a clear method for the contest staff, school staff, and judges to know exactly which rubric set is being considered. This concludes the video tutorial covering the top 10 improvements and new features in Solo-Ensemble.com for 2026. Look for other tutorial videos in our YouTube channel that describe these capabilities, as well as overall usage of the software.